Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Tim, and today I'm continuing my playthrough of Normandy 44. We are up to turn number 19. There are no special notes here of something that happened of historical significance on this date, so we don't need to talk about that. We do have one correction I need to make from last episode. I completely forgot to bring in this German reinforcement unit. So let's see where it might have gone. Comes in at a green entry area. So somewhere along here. And I'm guessing we probably want to try to bolster things up down here somewhere. I don't know that we have any place he can actually fit. So I guess the other option would be to send him up this direction to try to help contain things a bit. Yeah, we do have this gap here that we might need to do something about. So, in anticipation of possibly falling back and kind of reforming along this way, let's see where he could have gotten to. It was clear weather last turn, so even if we throw him on a truck, he's still going to only have 3 movement points. But we could use strategic movement to get him further along. That would double his movement points to 6. And we could come in probably, not sure which of these is shorter. It'd be 1, 2, 3, 4 to get to there. Here it would be 1, 2, 3, 4 only get you there. So coming in this way is quicker. So that's 4. 5, 6. So he could get to there basically. Or wait, we were wanting to get him in over this way though. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, let's do that. So that would have actually happened last turn. And so now we're ready to start turn 19, I think. Before we do, I mentioned at the end of last episode, I wanted to kind of get another tally of where things are in terms of the Allies reaching their victory conditions. Now, the one thing that the German player has to really prevent at all costs here is, I think even if at the risk of getting surrounded, they have to prevent these 4 Khan city hexes from falling to the Allies. Because if they manage that, then all they got to do is basically move 3 units to a map edge, either here or up here, and that will get them an auto victory. But other than that, if we are managed to push it to the last turn, then the Allies are going to need 10 victory points at the end of the game, which again are, they get 1 victory point for each town that is beyond the historical Allied progress line, which is this red dotted line here. And 2 points for every city that's passed beyond that. So if we start up over here, we can see they've got town here, city here, town here. So we'll start adding these up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's all they have over here that's beyond it. And then down here we've got, I think they had taken this one, or had the last one to have a unit in there. So that would be 9. This one is 1, 2, 10, 11. And coming down here, we've got 13, 14. Oh, that's not it. That's just that mountaintop there. What was that? 14, 15, 16. Don't have it over here. 17. 18, none here, and then, yeah, then none of this up here. But then also any hex or any town or city within the Cherbourg perimeter counts as well. So 19. Yeah, that's it for that. Yeah, this isn't a town, right? Nope, just trees. So it looks like that's 19. For the Allies, but then we have to subtract any that the German player controls on the other side of that line. So there aren't any around this way until we get to here. And then here we've got this one, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So that means the Allies have a net of 1 victory point at this point. So we would need to flip either 5 towns, because that would take 5 away from the Germans and give us 5 to the good, or two cities and a town would probably do it. Yeah. So that's kind of the Allies' goal at this point for the next 4 turns, is to try to take either 5 more towns, or 2 cities and a town, or 1 city and 3 towns. That the Germans are holding. And that should give the Allies a victory. And of course the Germans want to try to prevent that. All right, so that's good to know kind of where we stand with things at this point. So with that, let's go ahead and get started with determining the weather. Germans are hoping for some storm, or not storm, but some overcast. Yeah. Overcast turns here. Really help them out. And they get one. Overcast 2. All right, so that's going to give 2 improved positions that the Germans can build this turn. Two supply points. Let's give 1 to each, I guess. 1 armor replacement that they're free to use on anything except Panthers or Tigers. That can only happen on a storm turn, which we won't be seeing any more of those. The U.S. gets 1 infantry replacement. Again, they haven't been able to spend those for quite some time. The British get a... Oop, looking at the wrong one. The British also get an infantry replacement, which they desperately need because they're getting... they're still somewhat dangerously close. They have 3 3-step units that have been reduced to cadre or eliminated. Remember, if they get to 5, then the Germans automatically win. And unfortunately, no air units. We do get naval, but that's pretty much useless at this point in the game. But the Allies do get supply points. So we get 2 each. And they will also have replacement points available. All right. Then we go to ready all in-supply headquarters and Werfer brigades. Now we used both of our Werfers last turn, so we'll get those flipped over. The other one's under here, I believe. All right. Don't believe there were any headquarters that moved more than 1 hex that I remember. Yeah, so I think we're good there. Let me go to the German player turn, starting with the replacement phase. 1 armor replacement. Let's see where they want to use that. Probably in here, if possible, since we want to try to hold this area. They have to be in supply, which I believe all of these still are, because they only have to go through 1 hex that's in an enemy zone of control. So we're still fine supply-wise here. Thinking I would take that up to a 3. That would give them 4 steps in that hex. This hex currently only has 3, so we could bring them back out as well. Or no, sorry, this is that's mechanized infantry, so that would use an infantry replacement. I believe that one uses armor, though. Let me double check. Let's see. Panzer Grenadiers, which are these, take infantry replacements. That other one is a reconnaissance unit, and they do take armor replacements. So that will probably be what we want to do, since that's kind of our most important area that we need to hold here. Oops. We'll spend that. Give them a replacement. Excuse me, replacement marker. Still got that guy in there too. Yeah, so actually we have 5 steps in that hex now. Germans are going to try to need to get somebody into that hex as well. Not sure who. They might just have to sacrifice. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. If we move some stuff into here to try to keep the Allies from taking any of these hexes, then we're kind of opening things up where then they can gobble up a bunch of these towns as well, which is just as bad. So they're in a bit of a pickle here. But we might need to just give up the 1 Con City hex here and just collapse down and try to hold these 3 for as long as possible. This is a town that's just outside of Con. they could get to now. All right. So that's the replacement phase. Movement phase is next. And let's not forget this time, during the movement phase, they'll get their reinforcements. So they get actually all 3 units in a headquarters this time. That SS Panzer Grenadier unit will definitely help out. They're unfortunately coming in, well, 2 of them are coming in at green, which isn't going to help us over here since we're basically cut off from getting from this side to this side. I wonder, there might be a rule where we could delay them and then bring them in at a different reinforcement hex. I'll have to double check on that. These 2 are able to come in over here though. So let me check on that real quick. Yeah, so it says right here. In lieu of entering the map, a German reinforcement may be delayed 1 turn and enter at the same or an adjacent entry zone, blue, green, red, or orange, the following turn. This delay may be repeated indefinitely until the German player decides to enter the reinforcements. And then it talks about using strategic movement and all that. So we could delay these a turn and try to get them up in over here to help out with this, containing this breakthrough we're starting to get over here. The other thing I'm thinking is the Germans are probably going to have to, unfortunately, pull back from this river, which means giving up this town here. So if we give up that town and that city hex, that's going to swing things 6 points the other direction. So then the Allies will have 7 victory points, only 3 away. Maybe we just need to try to hold. See, the problem is we can try to hold at all costs here, but then if we do that, you know, what are we sacrificing in terms of giving them somewhat free reign down through here? I mean, theoretically, we could then cut them out of supply, and the towns wouldn't count toward victory points if they aren't able to trace a line of communication back to a beachhead, I think. But I don't know. Looking like it's going to be tough to hold them back. And we do have the advantage of the weather this turn in our favor. Speaking of which, did I forget last turn when it was clear? Did I have the Germans make some attacks that turn and forget to roll on the Jabos table? I might need to go back and review that. That could possibly change some of the outcomes. I can't remember if that was last turn or, well, it was definitely recently, since we've been out of the storm turns. Yeah, I need to go back and double check that. I may have messed that up. At any rate, let's figure out what we want to do with these replacements. I do think we are going to need these units over here. So I'm just gonna set them next to the map here and delay them for a turn. Whoops. And then let's see what we want to do with this guy and this headquarters. So for headquarters on this side, we've got the 47th Panzer here. We've got the 86th Division over here. I think that's it, right? So we could probably use something up in this vicinity. What are we going to do to try to contain this now? I hate to say it, but I'm wondering if we need to pull back some of these forces from these improved positions. Now that we've managed to stop them over here. So we could get either this guy or this guy swung back around. The other thing, though, is do we want to try to hit these guys again this turn? And then in here we've got we could probably pull this guy out of there and try to get him back around. Fortunately, he can't follow the road. He's going to have to work his way around this way. Same thing here. We could probably pull one of these two armor units out. This one can't really sacrifice anything out of there. So with that in mind, see, if we use this as kind of the linchpin here of our line, then we need something here probably, or here, I guess. I guess if we were here and here, and if we could get something to replace these, they could kind of slide up a little bit. Even to there. Well, we're going to have, so these guys are going to move to there. So if we got into there with them, then we'd need here and here. So can these guys reach? Those guys won't be able to. These might. What is armor moving through woods? 2 movement points. Yeah, it's not gonna. I gotta pay 1 to disengage, so that's 3 just to get to there. 4 or 5. So the best they can do is get into there. These guys might be able to make it up. They wouldn't. These ones with 5 movement points. So 1 to disengage, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so this stack. Oh, but they're disrupted. I think they can only use tactical movement when they're disrupted. Retreat and disruption, 15. Yep, tactical movement. Man. They could get to there. These guys can't make it all the way up there. One, 2.5. 3.5, 4.5. Well, the headquarters and the, well, I don't want the headquarters to go there, but this unit could. That one's going to be just short of making it. We could send this unit up though. And have this one and this one here. Yeah, I think we're going to have to do that. So we're going to pull these guys back to here. Move these guys into here. Actually, we only need to get to there, so maybe they can make it. Yeah, let's see. This one will, unfortunately, going to have to move him more than one hex, I think. We'll figure out where he goes in a minute. I think we send this guy. 1, 2.5 to there. Send this one down here. Along with this guy, he comes in as a reinforcement to there. This one can go 2.5, 3.5, 4. Figure out where he's going to go. Then I think we go send this one down to here. He's disrupted. We'll just do that. We'll send these two. So we need to get units in here so we can get, both of these can get there. Maybe, yeah. 1, 2, 3 for the infantry unit, and then this one's got plenty. We got, that's, yeah, we only got room for, well, that's 2 stacking points. This is 2 stacking points. This is only 1 stacking point. This one could stack with them for free, though, if he can reach there. 1 to disengage, 2. Yep, he can get to there. This one can go in this stack. That's disrupted. This unit's disrupted. The headquarters, 1, 2.5, 2.5, 3, 4, 5. Why don't we put him back on this hill? This headquarters will bring in and send them up. Let's see, they get 3 along primary roads. So this is 1, 2, 2 2/3. Basically, they got enough to get here. We'll just stack them with the Werfer Brigade. Okay. So we've reestablished a somewhat decent line here at the cost of giving up that town and giving up the defense along the river. I don't think we're going to be able to hold there. All right. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's no reason that guy doesn't really need to go any further. I guess for fun we can just put him in the town here. Now, can we get any more strength back into Con? I'm going to keep these guys here. That's 2, 5. Forest is 3. That's 8. Whoops. We've got 6, 7. Well, yeah, they don't have to. I guess we'd make these guys the main assault force with them attached. So that would be 11. They'd contribute half, so 12. So it'd be 1 to 1. But we do have a tank shift. Or no, we don't. They're in woods. So it'd only be 1 to 1, 2 to 1, 3 to 1 with the. We'd have to move the Werfers up to here. They only have a range of 3. 3 to 1 with artillery support and Werfer Brigade. So we'll probably do that. Try to put a little more hurting on there. But yeah, other than that, I think we want to try to pull some of this out of here. Leaves them with 7 plus 4 for the town is 11. One, 2, 3, 4. 4.5. 4.5 plus a third. 5.5 plus a third. That's basically all they'll be able to do. Well, they could probably get 5.5. Yeah, 2/3 would be too much. So yeah, that's as far as they could get. Come in to try to help defend Con, and then probably one of these guys too. Or do we want going to try to hit these guys again with our Tiger shift and all that. What do they got here? 8, 12, 16. We've only got 12. Well, not even that. So one of these would end up being halved, so we have 10. So it'd be 1 to 2, 1 to 1 with the tank shift, 2 to 1 with the Tiger shift. Do we have troop quality? We do not. So it'd be a 2 to 1 attack. Or do we just want to get some more strength back over here? If we just left that, that would be 10 with the terrain bonus. Yeah, we can actually afford to give up some ground here because there's no, this is the first town they could get to, and then the city over here, obviously. So let's see, that'd be 2 to get to there, and then 3, 4, 5. They could actually make it to there because they were closer to the road. Yep, I think we'll go with that for this side. Over here, I don't know that we really need to do much other than maybe maybe pull back into St. Lo here, and then feel like we might need to get this a little straighter along here. Well, they haven't really been threatening this. They're setting up, I think, though, to attack this spot over here, which could be trouble. Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and hold there for now. See what happens to these guys this turn. Up here, I think we're sort of okay. This is going to become entrenched now, this movement phase. There's much we can do here. I mean, we could pull these guys back into the town, I guess. Then again, we're letting them across that flooded hex side if we do that. So I think we'll just try to hold where we are there as best as we can. I think that's going to do it for movement. We need to decide where we want to try to use these at. Like I said, I don't think there's really any point in, unless I'm missing something. If I am, please let me know. But I don't see any point in constructing an improved position in a city hex because you're already on a better determined defense column. And it's not giving you any other defensive benefits. They can't do a tank shift, but they can't anyway into a city. So yeah, improved position in a city doesn't really seem to be provide any advantage that I can see. These have all moved, so they're not eligible. We could potentially do one over here to finish off this line, just to make it a little tougher for them to get through. That might be a good spot for one. We do have an infantry unit there that didn't move. And then along here, these guys are disrupted, so they can't. Could potentially do one here or here. Again, these guys are already in city hexes. This one might not be bad. He's across a river, so he's got that going for him, but he's also pretty weak, so. Yeah, we do have infantry there. This one could be done. That one can't. Could do one there. Actually, here would be a good one, I think. If they can manage to hold out. Why don't we do that? All right. So that's going to be it for movement. Before we get to the combat phase, though, I want to go back and review the previous turn, make sure I didn't mess up some German attacks there by not rolling on the Jabos table. We may have some corrections to do there if so. So I will be back after I do that. All right, so I went back and reviewed the footage from the previous episode, and yes, indeed, I did forget to check for the Jabos roll for the, I think it was 3 German attacks that were made. So I'm going to try to correct those now as best as I can. The first one was an attack that was made here. If you recall, this one, well, this is what the Allies had in the hex at the time. This was actually full strength at the time. This ended up getting knocked down to cadre, but then the Allies brought it back during their replacement phase. But I'm going to check. They had rolled a 1, which was an exchange result on the 4-to-1 column, but we actually needed to roll to see if it really was the 4-to-1 column or not. So the Jabos table, if the Germans roll a 1-to-3, there's no change, so it'll go as is. But if they roll a 4, 5, or 6, then there's actually going to be 1, 2, or 3 column shifts to the left, which will obviously change that EX result to either an A1DR or an A1 or an A1. So let's see what that roll is first to see if we have to modify this combat at all. And it's a 1, so that stands as is. No change necessary there. So the next attack the Germans had made was up here, actually where they're contemplating doing another attack this turn. At that time, this cadre unit was still there as well. This ended up getting bumped to a 3-to-1 attack with an armor shift from Khan, and actually I did a Nebelwerfer support from here, which actually was invalid because they weren't in range, but I'm pretty sure they could have made it to here instead of here. So we'll just say that they were already there last turn. We didn't actually have to move them this turn. But yeah, it was a 3-to-1 attack. They rolled a 6, which was a D1, and we ended up taking this cadre unit as a loss. But again, let's see if that result still stands. No, this time they rolled a 6, which is going to shift it left 3. So instead of a 3-to-1, 6, it's a 1-to-2, 6, which is a DR result, which could make things a little bit more interesting. So this cadre unit is actually still here. And then they would have had to retreat 2 hexes or attempt a determined defense. I think we would have been fine with retreating 2 hexes because I don't think the Germans would have advanced out of their improved position. So they would have retreated back to here, become disrupted, but then on their movement phase, they could have just moved right back up to here. And then, of course, the disrupted would have come off at the end of the turn. So net effect is no change in position or anything, just this unit was not actually eliminated. Alrighty. Alright, the final attack was this one here, which was at 4-to-1. They ended up rolling a 2, I believe, which was a DR result. These guys retreated back to here and then just advanced back up during their movement phase. However, we need to see if that actually would have been 4-to-1. So Jabos table roll is a 3. So yeah, that stands as it was. So we just had the one that was actually incorrect, resulting in the Allies not actually losing that cadre unit. All right, so I guess we should reevaluate whether we actually want to make this attack or not, since they got a bit more strength now. I mean, it's the same as it was last turn, I guess. So, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we have, we make these guys the math, 6, 11, 12, 13. So initial odds of 1-to-1. But we can do an artillery shift and a naval warfare shift to bump that up to 3-to-1. Excuse me. And this time we do not need to roll on the Jabos table, since we do need to spend that. It does have to come from 7th Army because they can't trace back to Fortress Cherbourg anymore. So 3-to-1 attack here. And 3-to-1 2 is an exchange. So let's see, where are the British at again? They've got three units that have been reduced to cadre. So I'm thinking they're going to pick this one, which will knock them down to a cadre unit, puts them at 4 now. And then, yeah, that wasn't airborne, right? Yep. And then the Allies will pick probably this guy. Maybe the armor, since that's harder for them to come by. was no, although they had a +1 there, the Allies did as well, so there was no troop quality shift. All right, so that's that. Any other attacks we want to do? Probably not here since we weakened that one now. It's only going to be... So we did... What do they got? They were at a max of 18, I think. We are now currently at only 8, which would be 1 to 3. And then even with the, well, we'd have, what could we get here? So starting at 1 to 3, we would have a tank shift, because we have a higher rating, a tiger shift. That brings it back up to 1 to 1. And then we could do an artillery shift and a Nebelwerfer shift to make it 3 to 1. So yeah, why not? See if we can put a little more hurting on them. Won't have to worry about it getting knocked down this time. So 3 to 1. Let's see what we get. 6. 3 to 1, 6 is a D1. So they will have to lose something. And I think we'll make it, what does this go down to? That goes all the way down to 5. We'll do it on that armor unit there. And then again, they will have to retreat 2 hexes. Ugh. And become disrupted. No advance from the Germans. Sure we didn't have a troop quality shift there as well. Okay. Any others? Is it worth trying this again? Let's see. This one will only be tank shift and troop quality shift. Let's see, it was 5, 9, plus 3 is 12, and I think these came out to, well, they were exactly 12 before, maybe now they're not, because this guy got reduced. Let's see. We have to have these two in the math to get their shifts, so that would be 6. These guys are halved for 7. 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're actually short now. Unless we wanted to try to do some shuffling here. Let's see. 1, 2 would get them to there. 3, 4, 5. And this guy could go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we'll just flip-flop those guys. So that'll get us back up to, I think it's, what is it, 13 to 12 now? So 1 to 1. Troop quality shift and armor shift makes it 3 to 1. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 artillery shift from here. We'll use 7th for that one, or 7th Fortress Cherbourg for that one. I mean, to make it 4-1. No Jabos. 4-1, 3 is a DR. Yeah, that's fine, I guess. They can do a 1 hex retreat to here because of the bocage. And they will be disrupted, but the headquarters is not. And no advance. All right, anywhere else we could try to give them a bit of a bloody nose? I don't think so. All of this up here was pretty weak. Maybe here. If we can double up on these guys now. They're at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Not going to have any shifts though, except an armor shift. They're at 11. We can do, and our main assault force is going to be pretty weak. We could make these guys, this division, the main assault force, so they'd be full strength at 4, 5, 6. He's defensive only, so yeah, we only got 6 attack strength there. That's not going to work. Yeah, I don't think there was anything else that was really worth trying. So we'll just go with that. We'll straighten all these guys back up that moved. Guys moved more than 1 hex. Yep. All right. That'll do it for the German turn. No reserve movement or reserve combat. Recovery. This will come off. This comes off. A bunch hiding under here. This one. And this one. And if we should have tried something here. Potentially get a tank shift and what if these guys had moved here? This guy was disrupted though, so that these guys can't, I don't think, can they attack when they're disrupted? They attack at half strength or something. Where is that? Page 15. No, cannot attack. So never mind. Let's see. We got these guys that were disrupted, and these guys. Okay, I think that's all for the recovery phase. Supply phase. These these are all good. These units here block the EZOC from, so they're not even tracing through any hexes in an EZOC to get to a supply source. Everyone here is good. All this is still good, hasn't changed. They're still out of supply, but no enemy unit adjacent, so they don't have to roll for attrition. We didn't abandon any of our improved positions, so nothing to do there. Allied player turn. Allied replacements first. We've got 6 infantry replacements for the U.S., 1 British infantry replacement. I think we've got another one of these we should probably bring back. Either this, what is that, Cadre C or Cadre D. Cadre C is here. Cadre D is somewhere. It's A. Oops. Where is Cadre D? There they are. So as the allies, we got to decide, do we want to try to start attriting things in Con, or just go for some other more low-hanging fruit? Definitely need to move somebody into that hex so we can claim that. Yeah, I think we start pushing. We can use these guys to just kind of form a line along here and start pushing some of these other units up to mount some attacks on Con. Try to hit this one. So if we can get them out of supply, then or even to where they can't retreat. Of course, they've got a pretty good odds of canceling retreat in there for determined defense. Probably want to smash into these guys. Try to open this up a bit more here. Since they're on the other side of the river with them, these guys could join in without penalty. Cadre C is from the 50th Division, which their units, where did they get to? Are those ones we sent up here? No. There they are. heavy hitters there. I'm thinking we give it to these guys. You get a replacement marker. All right, and for the U.S., I think we're still in a position where none of our infantry can take replacements because they didn't cause us any dings over here, so I'll just keep letting those accumulate. For movement phase, let's see what we want to do. So I'm thinking if we want to try to cause some trouble over here, got these guys and these guys now over here. So we could push them up into there. These guys back up into here. I think we tried to get these guys. Unfortunately, they can't attack, though, so they can't really give us that +1. We need these guys involved somewhere in an attack. So I think we're going to want to slam these guys. Let's work our way from the bottom up here, I guess. At this point, we're kind of safe to not leave these guys back to keep these guys in check. You can always respond to them if they try to do something funky. So I think we go here. Wait, can they do that actually? That's a major river, right? Where were they at here? They were there, yeah. So they can't cross the major river unless they start next to it, unless they go on a road. So they'll actually have to go. Yeah, they got plenty. They got 4 movements. So it's 1, 2, 3, technically. We can send these guys up. Oh, they've got a armor unit hiding under there. Send these guys up. And they can cross there, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. They can get to there. I think we swing these guys down. 1, 2, 3 to there. Okay. We send this stack up into here. Switch these two. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. They moved. This becomes an improved position. Yeah. Off center. Let's see. Let's make sure we got. These guys can probably move up to here since we don't really need to. Might need a support down here though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That still gives them range into con as well. Yeah, then these guys can kind of wonder if we actually pull these guys out of here. Just make room for these guys to go in there. Where's this guy's buddies at? Is it this stack? No. Oh, they're right here. I think we just send them to there. Their 1 hex move. Now these guys only moved 1 hex. Yeah, we definitely want to get those guys out of there. So we could give them a reserve marker. I guess it's not 1 hex, but they only spent 2 movement points, I think it is. Double check that. Oh, sorry. It's only, they can only spend 1 MP. It's being placed in reserve, so they don't qualify. So yeah, we probably won't have much that we can put in reserve. Trying to figure out where we want to send this guy to. Yeah, we did move through that one, so we have that now. We have all this that can attack there. I guess the question is, do we want to hit this one or do we want to hit this one? This one looks a bit tougher.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Yeah, I guess I'm thinking maybe we send them into here. Alrighty. We're looking at probably attacks here and here. We'll have to see, because I remember all we're going to get is artillery shifts, so might have to be a little bit sparing on the attacks. I think we want to try to hit this one here. That'll be enough to keep us busy over there. All right, on the Allied side, I guess, oh, right, this was because of that. No, that just happened this time, right? Okay. The Germans should have attacked here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on 7. Oh, but no artillery shift and no tank shift. I think that's why we didn't bother there before. Well, we could have swung this up there, I guess. Let's see. It'd be nice if we could take that town there. All right, let's see if we can get any of this around over here close enough. I guess they could just move to there. That would give us 14 plus half of that is 18 on 4, 6, 8 plus 3, 11. 1 to 1. I guess theoretically we could just do these two and put him in reserve. Might as well do that. Moved. Reserve. We got here. Well, we got a river there. We'd have to slide up to here, I think, if we wanted to attack them. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Puts a little more pressure there on St. Lo. What have we got here? We have to go probably 1st Division as the MAF with these guys attached. That would give us 12, 13, 14 on 7, 8, 9, 10. Planning on attacking here. And here. And 13. We got 12. We need a little help there. We do have this guy. Could he make it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He can. Yeah, we were planning on going up into here, I think. Attacking this. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We wanted to get 18, 12, 15. And these guys, we could just throw in one of them and put the others in reserve. I believe you're allowed to do that. I have some that are in reserve and some that aren't. Okay, yeah, you can have units in the same hex that are in reserve and not in reserve. So I think we're good there. The only stipulation is if they started in EZOC, they can't be placed in reserve unless they don't move at all. So we're going to put those 2 units in reserve and have that one participate in this attack. I don't think we want to move up into there, so I think we'll just hang back in that town there. Up here, this becomes an IP. That one's centered a little better. Yeah, then what do we want to do up here? I think we keep pounding on this. I think we got an exchange result last time, unfortunately. Let's pull this guy back out, move him in. Going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I think, I need to check on this. I think strong points don't qualify for DCBs, so I think the most they can get from the city hex is 4 instead of the 5. So if that's true, that's 4, 8, plus 3 is 11. So we only need to attack them with 11. So actually one of these stacks could be put in reserve. Let's do that with these guys. We got here 4. Plus the 3 from the bocage, so 7. Yeah, I guess we could try that. Oh, they're across the river, though. I think we want to wait until we can hit them from that hex. Yeah, that might be all. Look at here, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got 9, 10, 11. We would have an armor shift. And a troop quality shift. Yeah, let's do that. And then we're attacking up here. 4 attacks for the U.S. That's probably good. Or no, 5 actually. We're doing this one too. All right, let's get all these units that move straightened up. And quite a few over here. We may want to consider this attack as well. Let's put that there. All right. Let's look at these British combats we're contemplating doing. I think I'll go through and we've only got 2 shifts available, so I think we'll go through and figure out all the initial odds without an artillery shift to see where we might want to prioritize. So these guys have 7 and they're in a town for another 4, so that's 11. We have, that's a mishmash there. We could make the Canadians here the math. That'd be 10, 11. It's really all we need, right? Since we can't get better than 1-to-1 anyway. So technically, I guess we could put these guys in reserve. As well. So that's going to be a 1-to-1 attack. Oh wait, they, where did they move from? I think they moved from here. So yeah, they would have only spent 1 movement point. I guess if we had to, we could also just do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That would also be 11. So either way, because I know these guys didn't move. We'll do it this way. I'm pretty sure they only moved 1 from there to there. Only spent 1 movement point. All right, over here. Pretty sure this is just going to be 1-to-1. We've got 3, 13, 14, plus 5 for the city. So they're at the max. So we have to get to 18 just to get 1-to-1. Which could be tricky because we'd have to make these guys the math to get their +1. So that's 9. And then these guys are all halved. I suppose technically we could have moved these guys around. Where did they? They just came from close by, I think. Let's see what we got. Might not need to. So that's 9. As long as we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's not quite enough. I don't know if this will be enough. Even if we move them over there, that would be 6, 12. We'd have to have 6 out of this, which we don't. So maybe we don't, because that would only be, it'd be 2-to-1, 1-to-1 with the, or 1-to-2, I mean, and then the +1 would bring it up to 1-to-1. So I guess with a shift, we could still get it to 2-to-1. Might be better off trying to hit this one at some point. That's only 12. And we are across the river, so we wouldn't have to worry about extra halving. We really wanted to hit here, because this is only 4. We could get a big attack here even without a shift. But these guys would have to participate, otherwise these guys are going to be halved. So ideally, if we could get to 16, 6, 12, or actually 8, 14. Actually, these guys are 18. These are max factors all by themselves. So actually, these guys can't be put in reserve, though. I'm pretty sure they moved too far. Yeah, so this is going to be 18 to 4, so that's going to be 4 to 1. And then down here, we've got 2, 5, 7 plus 2 is 9. Theoretically, we could get to 2 to 1. These guys are all the same, so this could be our main assault force. 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Look at that. So that's 2 to 1 right off the rip. No troop quality. Alright, so we'll definitely do this one. We don't need any artillery support there. If we want to pull this off, we would need to throw in some artillery, I think. And the same thing over here. We have to be mindful of attacks with reduced size 3-step units. We've got one there. I'm pretty sure there's at least one over here. Yeah, we got one there. One there. Because we need to be careful of not... we've got 3 units right now at that have been reduced to cadre. So hang on a second. Is this one? This one I think is just a 2-step unit. Isn't it the ones with the thin stripe that are 3-steppers? I think this is only a 2-step unit, so I think we made a mistake there. That was Cadre B. Oops. Which I think was in here. Yeah, so that's actually... They actually just got eliminated. So in that regard, I think I would have chosen to take it on this one instead. Unless we were thinking of withdrawing can the British do airborne withdrawals? 22.2. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about not being able to, but it seems like the British Airborne Division only has, this one is also not a 3-step unit. This one's not. Yeah, I think I would have left those guys in since they can still attack potentially. And pulled this one off as the casualty there. And this one actually never got turned to a cadre. So yeah, they only have 2, I guess, now that are at cadre status. Glad I caught that. So I guess as long as we don't have 3 that get knocked down, we'll be all right. I feel like maybe we try to wait for better weather on this one. We're definitely doing that one, so that leaves 2 shifts to use elsewhere. We could do 1 here and put that to 3-1, and then 1 there to make that 2-1. Or we could do both here and make that 4-1 as well. Or we could just focus on this and just do 2 shifts there and make that a 3-1 attack. Well, let's resolve this first and then see what we want to do from there, I guess. So we've got a 4-1, no armor shift, no troop quality shift. Let's roll that. Ooh, 6. 4-1, 6 is a D1. Nice. I think they'll take it on the cadre. Oops. Well, that guy's going to have to retreat 2 spaces. Probably. Let's go back to here, I guess. Become disrupted. So that was just these guys by themselves, right? Yeah. We will have them advance to there. That's going to keep that unit from being able to get into con next turn. just get somebody into there, we could cut Colin off from supply. And prevent retreats out of it. Because technically they could still retreat this way then, but all right, that was good. Yeah, so what else to do? I really feel like wearing down Khan is going to be the key to the Allied victory here, so I think we maybe not worry about these little quote-unquote sideshows here and just focus on the main event. So we'll do both, we'll do 2 artillery shifts to make this a 3-to-1. Not that great. Oh, interesting exchange. That might actually be the best result for us, since we get to pick the loss, and they actually have to take a loss. Yeah, we definitely do that big boy there. They are going to pick this guy, so we don't get our +1 anymore. That's non-replaceable. Also makes us a bit vulnerable there. Oh, you know what we completely forgot about? I just realized was the U.S. reinforcements. Or Allied reinforcements, I should say. So they have 6 points to spend on each side, which could be used for supply points. I'm thinking we want to start getting this division in here over on the British side. So we'll bring one of them in here and one of them in here. So they'll go there and they'll go there. We can bring them down to start help pounding on Khan. For the U.S., what do they need help with? All right, we had these guys that we never moved. They came in last turn. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we bring some stuff down here to start preventing any shenanigans over here, because if we push these guys back and we start pushing this way, we're going to start opening up something over here. Maybe both of them should come down this way. 1, 2.5 to there. Let's go ahead and send this one down there too. That makes me feel a little better. Help me sleep better at night. Okay, as far as what we want to bring in this turn though, Got a big boy there. Those guys could use some armor. This could use. Don't forget too, we had these spots that only had a little bit of cadre in them that we might want to beef up. Though they are on the other side of a flooded hex side. This guy could use some help. Thinking maybe we bring in a couple of these small armor units at Omaha to kind of bolster up some of these ones that don't have armor. Yeah, why don't we bring in this and a couple of these guys. At Omaha. So that's 3 points that came in there, and that leaves us 3, so we could start bringing in this infantry division at Utah. All right, there we go. All right, back to what we were doing. Right, so we got the exchange result there, so they didn't have to roll for determined defense. I think we definitely don't do this one. Maybe we go ahead and do this one anyway, even though it's only 2 to 1. See if we can get lucky. Yeah, let's do it. 2 to 1 attack there. 6, there we go. 2 to 1, 6 is an A1, D1. We will take it. On this. They will take it on this. Yeah. Either one of these, it would just completely eliminate the unit. Let's see, we have to retreat 2 hexes. Or try a determined defense. I don't think Forest can stop the 2 hex retreat. Maybe it can. Let's see, retreat 15. 1 hex retreats. So yeah, it can. Woods, city, town, woods, or bocage. Yeah, I think we just retreat to there. Become disrupted. For advance, I would say these guys go into here. These guys go, as long as they retreat into the defender's vacated hex, they are allowed to move Zoc to Zoc. So they could go here. That puts these guys in a bit of a pickle. Alrighty. That's going to do it for the British side. For the U.S., again, we only have 2 shifts available to us. Let's see what, I'm pretty sure all of these are going to be 1-to-1 odds. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14 to 11. That's initial odds of 1-to-1. Here we've got 7, 8, 9, 10. Well more than 10. That's 1-to-1. I think this might be one of our definite spots we want to hit. 6, 7, 8, 9. I think we had enough to get to 2-to-1, right? 12, 15, plus half of these makes 18. So that starts at 2-to-1. Plus we have a tank shift. No troop quality, so 3-to-1. So yeah, we're definitely hitting that one. Probably don't even need support. Actually, do we have a troop quality? Are these both -1? No, they're not. Okay, and then here we've got 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't think we were able to get to 18 here. Nope. 9, 10, 11. That's 1-to-1. And then this one is 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I was going to double check too on that. I'm pretty sure they only qualify for 4 DCBs here. That would make them 12. And that's our 12 right there to get us to 1-to-1. Let me confirm that real quick. Whoops. Yeah, that is the case. And in fact, I may have messed this up at some point. Silhouetted units don't get DCBs either, so you can't count their strength as part of the maximum DCP boost that they can get. All right, so I don't think that happened just recently. Unless it might have been one of these. I mean, these guys, this battle, they were in the open, so they definitely didn't qualify for any at all. This one, they had 3, 4, 5, not counting them, and they were only getting 2 DCBs, so that was fine as well. Keep that in mind, though, for the future. All right, so we got, 4 1-to-1 attacks and a 3-to-1 attack that we're considering. What would be the most beneficial, I guess? This helps get us closer to taking a couple of towns, so that would be good. This one is getting us closer to taking a city hex, which would be even better. You know what? I don't remember. I'm not sure if these count against me. Yeah, they probably do. I'll relook at that next time we check our victory conditions. We're definitely doing that one, possibly without any extra support. Excuse me. I think we liked this one because it starts putting some more pressure on St. Lo if we're able to push them back. fact, if they do retreat, we could actually, well, we can't advance into it because those guys are there, but we could get right up next to it. You know what? Let's do like we did before. Let's go ahead and roll this one first with no shifts, and then we'll see what we want to do based on those results. So 3 to 1, 6, nice. It's a D1. So they will lose a step here. And then I think we will just retreat them back to here. They'll lose their entrenching marker. And then for advance, let's go there. Get that hair off of there. And then this unit can also advance. Thinking with these guys, we could go after this one with a strat move marker on him during reserve combat. It'll be 8 on 5, but I think that strat move gives them a left shift. Plus we'll have troop quality and tank shift. Yeah, buddy. So maybe actually advance that guy to there. And then, yeah, those guys will be able to put some hurting on there. All right, that went pretty well. I'm thinking maybe we focus on Cherbourg up here, kind of like we were focusing on Khan on the other side. And we'll just give them both of the artillery shifts. If we do manage to push them back, then that'll give these guys an opportunity to possibly exploit. All right, so another 3 to 1 attack. 4 this time is a DR. Or no, sorry. Yeah, DR. So they will attempt a determined defense. They have the Cotentin that can provide some support, although we have to choose a lead unit, and these guys are all crappy. I don't think the strong point can be the lead unit unless it's by itself. Let me double check that, because otherwise they're looking at a -2. Let me confirm that. Yeah, no, the only restrictions on lead unit in a determined defense is it can't be an HQ unit, a warfare unit, or disrupted unit. So we'll let the strong point be the lead unit, which has a troop quality of 0, and then we'll get a +1 from the Cotentin headquarters, which has to use Cherbourg supply. And then they'll be rolling on the city column. So it's this column with a +1. So anything other than a 1, they will cancel the retreat. 4 becomes a 5. Retreat canceled and an exchange results. And in exchange, the lead unit loses a step, and then they get to pick a step loss from us. It's not really much of a choice because it was just these two guys. So we will choose that one. And then the Strong point loses a step. I think it's a 2-stepper. Yep. It takes it down to only 1 now, so that'll make it a little bit easier next time. Unfortunately, that means these guys, well, they could, I guess, still theoretically attack. They've got 13, and it's against, what, 4, 8, 9 now. It would be a 1-to-1, but might be worth a shot. All right. Then do we want to try our luck with any of these 1-to-1 attacks? We've got, what, 4 out of 6 chances that we'll lose a step. Only 1 chance that they'll lose a step, which is the exchange. And then a 50-50 chance on a DR result. We wouldn't want to try there because an exchange would knock these guys down to cadre. This one might be worth trying. No, I think we'll just, oh, here we've got infantry replacements to burn. Maybe we go ahead and try it here, see if we can get lucky. Not really gaining us much though. So they would retreat to here. We can move in. These guys are in reserve, but not really going to be able to do anything. If we could get this town, that would be good, but got decent defense there. Oops. Yeah, that's the rest of their division there. I think maybe we just hold off, try to set up a good attack on this town next turn. So we'll just go with that. All right, so that didn't result in any more cities or towns falling. So I think, if I had the numbers right, we were 1 victory point to our good, and then we gained a city hex here, and I thought we picked up a town hex somewhere. Oh yeah, this one. So that would be a 6-point swing. So I think we're at 7 victory points for the Allies at this point. I'm going to use this marker that I'm not really sure what it's for, just as a victory point marker on the general records track here. So I think the Allies currently have 7 victory points of the 10 needed by the end of the game. So we'll go with that. All right. Well, before we wrap things up, though, we still got the reserve movement phase and the reserve combat phase, which we may be able to make some stuff happen there. So over here, that we want to try. So that's 7. Remember, this is silhouetted though, so he doesn't. But they want to get in 4 DCBs, so that's still 11 there. And we've got 6. We could only attach one of these units, so 9, 10, 11. What did I say they had? 11. So it is 1-to-1. Don't know that we want to risk knocking that guy down to cadre though, so I think they'll just do nothing. And then over here, I think for the time being we'll leave them where they're at there now too, because they're hoping to form Zoc bonds, so don't really want to move them out. Here though, they are going to, although that's an armor unit, I don't know that he can cross a flooded hex side without going along. Oh, but they could just come into here, I guess. There's room. Yeah. Let me just confirm that though. I know they can't enter the flooded hex unless they're following a road. Flooded hex side. Mechanized is prohibited, yeah. So they would have to follow a road to do that. But we'll just move them into here. So they get half their movement points for being in reserve, marked in reserve, so costs 2 to get to there because they have to cross the minor river. And then only those 2 will be attacking. So we'll kind of set this guy kind of like that for now, just so we know he's not in reserve. And then up here, I don't think we want to do anything with these, unfortunately. I was hoping to force them out of that city hex, but that didn't happen. All right. So reserve combat right here. We've got 8 on 5, which is 1-to-1. We have an armor shift. We have a troop quality shift because they're -1 and we're 0. Whoops. That puts it at 3-to-1. And then let me check. I think the strat move marker might give us a shift as well. Yep, defender using strategic movement. Get a shift for that. So that's going to be 4-to-1. Because Germans shouldn't have put them so close to danger there. All right, so we got a 4-to-1 attack here. I think as soon as they're attacked, the strat move marker comes off, though. Four to 1, 5. It's going to be a D1. They will lose a step and retreat 1 hex. Go that way or this way. Maybe this way. And then those 2 units can advance to there or there. So we have this unit still here. I guess we might as well advance them to here. That puts these guys in a whole lot of trouble. That can come off now, I think. And they will be disrupted. worked out well for the Allies. That will bring us to the recovery phase. So our replacement markers can come off. I think it's just this one. And disrupted markers there and there. Put these guys back on top. I'll leave the headquarters on top so we know what's there. I think that was it. Then we have supply phase, check supply. Let's see, this guy, he only has to go through one empty hex in an enemy zone of control, and then he's on a road, so he's fine. These guys are all fine, fine. Fine. Of course, these are all good. These ones, they can go 1, 2, 3 and get on a road. One in enemy EZOC, get on a road. He can get around it. Yeah, so everybody up here is fine. No isolation attrition, no allied IPs alone in a hex. No desired airborne withdrawals. I think we're still okay with the 101st. They've still got one unit that's hasn't been knocked down to cadre yet, so we'll leave them in for the time being. No automatic victory. So yeah, that will conclude the turn. Takes us to turn 20, June 25th. And that's going to wrap things up for this episode of Normandy 44. Thanks everyone for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.